Hi there. I'm Laura Rainwater. I'm one of the pastors here at Parker United Methodist Church, and it is good to be with you today. When I'm recording this, it's the 10th day of the year 2023. Is it too late to say Happy New Year? It is good to be with you. It's good to reflect on what happened in 2022 and also imagine and dream what's going to happen in 2023. You know, when we change the calendar from one year to the next, we often do that. We look back and we also look forward. I know in the media, they often on December 30th, December 31st, they'll have news stories sharing what happened in the year before. So this is kind of like that. And then we also, as we turn that calendar to the new year, we imagine what the possibilities are. Sometimes we talk about New Year's resolutions on how to make the year the best year it can be, but sometimes we just need to stop and think and begin to dream about what can be for the year. So that's what this is today. It all started this past Saturday when we had our church conference, which is our annual meeting. We had that, and during my pastor's report, I was able to share some of the things that I thought were important in the year 2022. And then there was another opportunity later in the meeting to share the mission and ministry successes for the year. And one of those in attendance, one of our church members said, "You know what? I think that's something that everybody needs to hear. Everybody that's part of this church." So I did a little abbreviated version during worship on Sunday morning. So this is my chance to kind of give you a little bit more information than I shared in the church. So first I'm going to talk about what happened in 2022 that we can celebrate. What is something good? I'm going to preface it by saying I may have forgotten something. I may have overlooked something. The first item I'm going to share is that during the year you received a new senior pastor. I started on July 1st. There might be some things that happened January through June that I've omitted, or maybe as I was getting my feet wet and figuring out who I was and where I was, maybe there was something even July through December that I overlooked. So if there's something that you think I forgot to mention, feel free to reach out to me. You can call me, you can email me, you can always contact the church office and say, "Hey, this is what Pastor Laura forgot." And I'd be happy to share that with others at a different time. But yes, in the year 2022, one of the things that I know happened is you got a new senior pastor. Reverend Barb Scholas, she retired, and then I came on board on July 1st. And so hopefully that's something to celebrate. It's something that I celebrate. As a church, we began talking about who we are and imagining what the priorities are in order to remain faithful in responding to God's call upon us as faithful members of Parker United Methodist Church. Some of that work started with the recalculating conversation in the spring, and it continued with our leadership retreat in the fall, and that was facilitated by the Reverend Dr. Amy Gearhart. With all of that information of who are we and where do we feel like God may be leading us, in 2023, your leadership board will be taking all of that information and working on creating our mission, vision, and values. Now, that probably should have put that in the 2023 dreams. But as a church, I think it's important to celebrate that those conversations began. Also in 2022, we began to pivot from being so focused on COVID to learning how to live with it. And what that meant is that many of our familiar activities and ministries returned. More people were worshiping in the worship space. Our classes resumed in full. We had more summer activities and some of those fun things that we've always looked to have. So 2022, we know that COVID didn't disappear. It's still around, but we've learned how to manage it and provide ways so that people can remain safe as they need to. But with all of the vaccines that hopefully, and boosters that you're hopefully having, it just feels like we could do the things we've always wanted to do. And so that's been a good thing. Also this fall, we as a church had an opportunity to share what was important to us. The leadership board invited people to share what's important to them. And as they did these listening sessions, it affirmed something we already knew, which is Parker United Methodist Church is a diverse congregation. We see things differently. Sometimes we like to worship differently. You'll hear a little bit more about that in a minute. But yet, for over 110 years, Parker United Methodist Church has been a place where all of us can come together with our diversity, with our differences, even sometimes how we read things and how we discuss things. But yet we've been united in the one body of Christ as expressed in this church. And we've been serving in mission, we've been studying together, we've been worshiping together, we've been doing a lot of things together. And I think that's something we celebrate even as we move from 2022 to 2023. A couple of things specifically to share about this past year is that yes, we continue to be a vibrant worshiping community. I know the first half of the year, we had 2 worship services. That was before my time, but there were 2 worship services that were very similar. And then during the summer, we had 1 worship service. And from what I heard, everybody was excited because we got to see everybody in that 1 service. And so then in the fall, starting in September, we did something a little bit different. We once again had 2 worship services. The 9 o'clock was the more familiar one with the hymns and the choir and the special music and the doxology and the sermon. But our 10:30 service became Spark. The Spark worship service was designed to be something that would be more comfortable for children and families and those who might want something a little bit different, not necessarily so traditional, if you will. During the Spark service, we sing more contemporary songs. Our prayer time is often more interactive. We have our children's message, but we also have noisy offering. We have our regular offering. The sermon is not one long sermon, but it's more 2 times of reflection. And we also have communion every Sunday. What we've noticed is that many of our families are choosing to come to this Spark service. Maybe it's just a better time for them, but it's also a place where the kids can be a little more wiggly if they need to be. In fact, this past Sunday, we noticed that there were as many or even more children at the 10:30 service than there were at the 9 o'clock service. And so we're definitely meeting a need, and that is super exciting. We also started a different worship experience in 2022, our once a month dinner church called At the Table. It's on the second Wednesday of the month at 5:30, and it includes a meal, time for people to sit around at different tables together, to have conversations, to talk about their faith, to answer questions that are shared. Sometimes they do a mission project or they do something fun. Once again, that is something that families or people that just need a place to get together with others during the week. It's been a success, and we're really grateful that we can continue to offer a different experience. But what started in COVID is, everybody went online to have our worship services when it wasn't quite healthy enough or safe enough. And we continue to offer our live stream service for our 9 o'clock service. And we have about 40 people watching that service, both on our online platform and on YouTube. And many of the people that are worshiping at the same time online are doing so maybe for health reasons, maybe for safety reasons, maybe people are traveling and so they can worship from afar. What we've learned is that this is often where visitors will check us out for the first time. They'll worship with us online or they'll watch the recording later. And that's how they figure out who we are. Many of our visitors that come into the doors and meet with us after worship will say, well, I've been watching you online. I've been checking out online. And what I said on Saturday is that this online worship is a new front door for the church, where people can check out who is this community? What do they believe? What's their worship look like? And so we're really excited that we have this new front door for people to find out about us. We continue to be a generous church, with not just with our tithes and offerings, but with our special offerings for the many donations that you have made over the last year, whether it was giving to the schools to give them snacks, or to Parker Task Force with clothing items and gifts for the Christmas presents. Right now, people are donating items to give to the refugees in our community. We also collect money for those organizations, but we're also volunteering for those organizations. We also support global missions, whether it's with Global Hope. We know that many of you make financial donations to that, or maybe some of you go on those mission trips, and so we help support you there. Feed My Starving Children returned this year, and we had so many volunteers to help feed almost 1,000 kids every meal they need each day for the entire year. And that's something we can celebrate, is everybody has come together to help feed children. We help support UMCOR. There are a lot of things that we do, and we're so excited that we are such a giving congregation. Our small groups and our fellowship activities have returned in full. We have Sunday school classes. We have other classes that meet throughout the week. Our dinners for 8 returned. There's always something that we can share, an opportunity that we can share so that we can learn, we can grow as disciples, we can also fellowship with one another. And from what I can tell, it's also a lot of fun. And so we celebrate the fun that we've had this past year. We continue to have amazing activities that reach out into our community, whether it's our summer activities like the car show or the concerts or our children and youth events. We had Vacation Bible School. Our youth went on a mission trip. We were a polling place for voting day. That was exciting. Not to mention Little Blessings, that is a ministry that supports and provides childcare and educational learnings for the families of little children, of our younger children in our community. We're so grateful for Little Blessings, for the staff and for the families that participate in that. We also are a church that strives to witness to God's love to everybody, whether it's through these activities or it's through our donations and our giving. And one thing to celebrate is that Parker Town Council meeting on Tuesday, January 17th at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall. We will be recognized for our contributions to the community. So I invite you to attend that. But what I want to say is that others know what we're doing, and they see the ways that we support others, that we support one another, that we share the love of God offered to us in Jesus Christ in all that we say and all that we do. And that's something to celebrate. As we move from 2022 to 2023, there's just a few things to offer. I don't know what the year has in store, but I do know that God is with us and that God will continue to use us as God has for over 110 years. We know that we are once again part of the Winter Shelter Project. So when we have families in need for a safe place, we will be volunteering on Wednesdays to help provide a safe place for them. So if you want to volunteer, let us know. Our children and our youth programs are still going strong. And in fact, we continue to grow the number of children and youth that are part of those. I know that they are starting to plan for Vacation Bible School and for the summer mission trip for the youth. Those details aren't ready yet, but know that they are in the works. And so that's exciting. We will continue to have our worship experiences, whether it's 9 o'clock or 10:30 or during our at the table monthly dinner church. Can you believe that Ash Wednesday is coming up on February 22nd? Well, once again, maybe we'll have an Ash Wednesday service. We'll definitely have the drive-through Ashes opportunity because that's the beginning of Lent. And we already have our Lenten series figured out. And before you know it, we'll be talking about Holy Week and Easter Sunday and all that will provide. Our Sunday school classes and our educational classes and our small groups will continue. As those change, we will update our website I know that I'm looking forward to offering a class, might be online, but doing a Lenten study myself. And so God is still asking us to do something different, and I look forward to sharing more with you. We're also excited that we have people joining the church. We're going to have a new members class soon. So if you're watching this and you're not a member and you're interested, you can contact the church office, contact me, or contact Pastor Cody, and we can sign you up. Our Little Blessings will be participating in the Universal Preschool program, and that begins in the fall. And so this is an opportunity to help our families in need. There will be some financial impact with that to help our families. And so if you need to learn more about Little Blessings, need to learn more about Universal Preschool, let us know, and we'd be happy to share that with you. Once again, this is a lot. And I'm excited that there's a lot to celebrate, both retrospectively and looking forward to what's coming. I'm sure I missed something. Please let me know what I missed. But yet what I don't miss is knowing and trusting that God is with us. God's call continues to speak to us, to challenge us, to move us in directions, maybe in ways that we aren't expecting. Because God's Spirit works in unique and mysterious ways, and we just have to be faithful in responding. And I am grateful to be faithful with you for whatever God puts on our heart, whatever ways the Spirit moves among us, and to know that there are amazing things happening. Not because I'm amazing, but because we all are, and because God is amazing working through us. So I look forward to hearing what you have to celebrate for 2022 and your hopes and dreams for 2023. Take care, my friends, and see you soon.